21 days into the month of September, and on the last official day of summer in the Northern Hemisphere, we welcome you to CNN 10. I'm Carl Azus, back in our home studio. Outside the U.S. Supreme Court, memorials appeared over the weekend. They were in remembrance of Associate Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who passed away last Friday at the age of 87. In the Supreme Court's announcement of her death, Chief Justice John Roberts said America has lost a jurist of historic stature and that the Supreme Court has lost a cherished colleague. Justice Ginsburg had been battling pancreatic cancer since 2009. She'd served on the High Court since 1993, when she was nominated by President Bill Clinton. Ginsburg was the second woman to serve on the court. Before that, she'd worked as a law clerk, a law professor, a U.S. appeals court judge, and a lawyer for the American Civil Liberties Union. Women's rights was a deeply important issue to the Associate Justice.
In my lifetime, I expect to see 3, 4, perhaps even more women on the High Court bench, women not shaped from the same mold, but of different complexions. I surely would not be in this room today without the determined efforts of men and women who kept dreams of equal citizenship alive.
In recent years, Ginsburg served as the most senior member of the High Court's liberal justices. She took a liberal position in her votes on a number of controversial issues, from abortion to immigration to health care. But Ginsburg also shared a close friendship with Associate Justice Antonin Scalia, who was known for his conservative positions until his death in 2016. At that time, there was a political controversy over Justice Scalia's replacement, and it seems history is repeating itself ahead of the process to replace Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Federal judges, including Supreme Court justices, serve for life. That's why presidents regard these judicial appointments as such an important way to extend their own legacies. The Constitution does not set out a resume that a Supreme Court justice has to have. There's no requirement in the Constitution that a Supreme Court justice even be a lawyer. But traditionally, presidents have nominated impeccably qualified sitting judges. Both presidents and senators like to say that the confirmation process is all about qualifications. But it's really also about politics. Virtually every important issue in American politics and even American life winds up in front of the Supreme Court. And they have the last word. Both the president and the senators trying to figure out how the nominee stands on the hot-button issues that the Supreme Court deals with. And that's why the senators will vote yes or no.
And it is the responsibility of the Senate to confirm or deny presidential nominees to the High Court. That's established by the Advice and Consent Clause of the U.S. Constitution. But a political fight is brewing over the timing of appointing Justice Ginsburg's replacement. Generally speaking, Republicans want to appoint conservative justices to the Supreme Court, though they don't have to vote that way. Democrats want to appoint liberal justices to the Supreme Court, though they don't have to vote that way. The president is a Republican, and the Senate is controlled by Republicans. So with an election coming in November, it may benefit Republicans to try to nominate and vote on Ginsburg's replacement now while they control the White House and Senate. This could help them appoint another conservative to the court. It may benefit Democrats to try to delay the process until the new year in the hopes their party will win control of the White House and/or Senate. That could help them appoint another liberal to the court. Of course, it's a gamble any way you look at it because neither party knows what will happen in the election and both parties want to look good to voters going into it. We will be following this controversy in more detail this week. As far as the current makeup of the Supreme Court goes, 5 of its members were appointed by Republican presidents, 3 of its members were appointed by Democratic presidents. 10-second trivia. What was the only U.S. state to join the Union in 1876? Wyoming, Idaho, California, or Colorado? 100 years after the Declaration of Independence, the Centennial State of Colorado achieved statehood. Don't get confused about our next story. It's about an orange called an apple, specifically the Colorado orange apple. It's not easy to grow any kind of apple in Colorado. The air is thin, the temperature changes in spring and fall are extreme, there are late frosts, a lot of grasshoppers, and not a lot of rainfall. And yet, fruit orchards cover the valleys of the Centennial State. And one of those fruits used to be the Colorado orange apple. It was among more than 400 types of apples historically grown in Colorado, according to one expert. 50% of them were reportedly thought to be extinct. But thanks to the efforts of two passionate people, the Colorado orange apple has returned from the past.
These trees keep the stories of people that grew them, people that ate them, that made money off of them. The trees tell the story. Orchard fruits were a foundational industry in Colorado from the earliest days in the 1860s when many people were coming in to go after gold in the Pikes Peak Gold Rush. Other people realized that those miners and those folks would need to be fed. It's really the only apple of Colorado origin that ever made it big in the world. We first saw the Colorado orange in a county fair record. It took us a couple of years of realizing what it was and then going crazy trying to find it. This was a tree that had been in their family since the early 1900s at least. We started looking at the tree and there were still apples hanging on it. The story and the tree and the fruit were together. We really felt like this was it. This doesn't mean it's not it. You have to find a horticultural specimen to match it to. The problem with that is if it's believed to be extinct, there's nothing else you can match it to.
After they explained that they were really trying to track down this particular apple, I was just so excited that we had one in the collection. And then we have our apples.
We were able to compare apples to apples, and we feel like it's absolutely it. This is a little row of Colorado orange apple trees that were grafted this year. Our steps now is to get this out to people. For us, it's about moving it forward.
We can actually take some little sticks of this and graft it, insert it into the wood of that other tree, and this will start to grow and it will be a Colorado orange tree. Every time I do it, it doesn't seem like it should work, and it usually does, and it's just one of those cool things in nature.
I absolutely believe the Colorado orange has a story yet to come. I think the best part of this story is going to happen when consumers are able to taste it and ask for it and demand it.
For a man in Massachusetts, it was a late summer snooze by the pool. That's why the feet you see in this picture aren't going anywhere when an uninvited visitor strolls into the scene. The animal seems to take a sip of water, and then it seems taken aback when it realizes what's sleeping nearby. But when the bear's curiosity gets the best of it and the sleeping giant wakes up, it's the bear that bolts, not the napper. Instead, he just reaches for his phone and zooms in for a close-up. This should probably fit into the don't try this at home category. Because even if you enjoy a good slum bear going dormant in the summer sun, a bit of shut-eye gets really eye-opening when your cat nap becomes a bear nap, turning all of your dreams into an Ursa Major hibern nightmare, y'all. I'm Carl Azus for CNN 10. We dream of visiting Cairo, Egypt, and that's where you'll find the American International School in Egypt, where folks are watching and they're commenting on our YouTube channel.